you. What a great audience. That was the Tennessee Waltz. I'm going to play a song now. This one's called My Blue Heaven. First, I got to roll up my sleeves. I think my arms shrunk. Here we go. All right, now I'm ready. Thank you very much. That's My Blue Heaven. My Blue Heaven. Wow, that was a lot of fun. I'm feeling good this morning. Here's another one that I hope you enjoy. This is an Elvis tune. I'm going to play it with a little boogie woogie style. This is one of his first ones. It's called Teddy Bear. very much. Ooh, that's a lot of fun. That's Teddy Bear. That's an Elvis tune with a little boogie woogie to it. My name is Tim the Piano Man. Yes, it's true. I drove from Memphis to be here today. Well, it's a lot faster than riding a bike. Here's another one I hope you enjoy. Thank you very much. What a wonderful audience. Thank you very much. Here's some more music I hope you enjoy. I'd like to play a song now. This one, it's called Country Roads Take Me Home.
Whoa, wow.
Thank you. Wow, what a great audience. Thank you very much. My name's Tim the Piano Man. That was Country Roads, Take Me Home. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have a request, please let me know. If I know your song, I will play it. And if I do not know it, I will play something else.
Good idea.
It's funny how that works out. Of course, if you're enjoying my selections, then I will continue. And if you just have a request, then just raise your hand.
Continue.
I don't know that one. Oh, well, I might as well announce this one. I don't think I played this one when I was here last. This is a song from My Fair Lady, and it's called On the Street Where You Live. Thank you very much. Thank you. Here's another song from that same play / movie. This one is called I Could Have Danced All Night. Sometimes this song is also referred to by its other name, I Could Have Danced All Night. great audience. Thank you very much.
What a great pianist.
My Wonderful World.
Wonderful World. Yes, ma'am, that's a good one. Not only is it a good one, but I also know how to play it.
Oh, good.
Thank you kindly. That is What a Wonderful World. That's a Louis Armstrong tune, y'all. If you enjoyed that one, you might enjoy this next one. Louis Armstrong has a fantastic version of this next tune. This one's called Do You Know What It Means to Miss New Orleans? Thank you very much. Now here's Way Down Yonder in New Orleans.
All right.
Thank you kindly. Thank you very much. Yes, sir.
Hello, Dolly.
Hello, Dolly. Oh, that's a good one. All right, I'll do it.
Good.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you kindly. What a great audience. Thank you very much.
You're better than Liberace.
Oh, no. Well,
Yes, yes.
that's very kind. Did I hear another request?
Bill Bailey.
Bill Bailey. That's a good one. You know, I was thinking about maybe playing that one during that last song. So I will play Bill Bailey. I thought I heard something else. By the way, if you raise your hand, then I can see where the request is coming from, and I can make sure. Yes, ma'am.
What about summertime?
Summertime, I can do that as well. Okay, so we got Bill Bailey and then Summertime. All right. Thank you. Thank you very much. All right, the next song I'm going to play is Summertime. you very much. What a great audience. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
It is a pleasure, ma'am. It is an absolute pleasure. That was Summertime by special request. So far with the requests, I think I'm batting 100, which is pretty good for a baseball player. Yes, sir. That's you.
I'd like to perform You Are My Sunshine
Hey.
by the former governor of Louisiana, Jimmy Davis. He wrote, composed, and sang that tune.
That is an interesting fact that, like you said, the former governor of Louisiana wrote, composed, and sang that tune. Did I get that correct?
Correct.
You Are My Sunshine. Here it is, folks. Thank you. That was a lot of fun. I like that request. Anybody else have a request? If you don't, that's all right. We can do Chef's Choice. Chef's Choice. Bet you never heard that song, Chef's Choice. Well, it's not a song. It just means that I get to choose.
Okay, good for you.
All right, let's see what happens. Thank you very much. I'm going to leave y'all with an original tune. This is a song that I wrote all by myself, and it's track 4 on my album. I've got some albums for sale. I think that some of y'all were maybe asking for that last time. I can't remember. But if you're interested, just let me know, and here is that track. This is track 4 from my album. It's called Spaceman. Thank you very much. What a great audience. That's it for me for today. My name's Tim the Piano Man. I enjoyed entertaining y'all, and I hope that your breakfast tomorrow is even better than your supper is tonight. Thank you very much. Hello.
Great job all the way.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
That your sunshine, Jimmy Davis,
Jimmy Davis.
3-time governor of Louisiana.
3 times. No kidding.
Two, 10-year break.
Hey,
Check his history out.
interesting. Okay, I
It
will.
lived to be about 100.
No kidding.
Sunshine, Horseman, Sunshine.
Oh,
Read
really?
the book on it.
Okay, yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Hi. Hey, good to see you.
It's always good to see you. You took me back so many ingredients. You bring miles to every one of those. My husband.
I love it.
I love it too. Thank you.
Thank you, man.
God bless you, God bless you, God bless you. What a
Thank you.
talent that
Thank you.
God gave you. Oh my goodness, I could listen to you day and night.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you.
And your chef's choice was delicious.
Oh, that's great to hear. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, I can play, but not like that.
Oh,
Not like that.
oh, what do you like to play? Classical, hymns, contemporary?
Well, I don't play much anymore but hymns. But
Yeah.
when I was younger, I did Bach and Beethoven and all that stuff. Do you happen to know Old Man River?
I do. I'll have to play that one next time.
Yeah. Well, I started to ask, but I thought, well,
You gotta bring them again. I gotta bring them again.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
oh, hey, Sarah.
You are amazing.
Thank you.
And I am amazed. I cannot. It's unbelievable almost that you have a repertoire of 1 hour's music in your brain.
Oh.
And without having to look at music, that is amazing.
Thank you, ma'am.
And God bless you. You come back soon.
Thanks, will do.
I love everyone. Every
Thank you.
song you play.
I'm a lyric soprano, but I love piano.
Oh, that's hey, that rhymed.
Amazing. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We'll keep you on.
Please do, please do.
That was absolutely.
This lady can play.
Thank you.
Not like that. That was absolutely.
Thank you, ma'am.
I'm so glad that I came.
I'm so glad you
I
did too.
wasn't feeling too good. I was in the dentist's office for 3 hours.
Oh my goodness.
But I said, I'm gonna get up. Now you said you had some of your music.
Yes, ma'am. I got some CDs. I'm selling them for $20.
What's on it? That's on. Is that on?
That song is on them, as well as 12 other tracks that are similar but slightly different.
Can I see this?
Yeah, I got them in the car. I can go grab them.
Okay, go grab them.
Okay, yes, ma'am. Oh, hey,
I've met you before, Benny.
Yes, sir.
Smith.
Hey.
Wonderful performance. Enjoy it.
thank you.
Wasn't the one that you didn't tell us about, wasn't it? I Can't Stop Loving You?
I can't help falling in love with you, I think.
Okay. Yeah, I knew that the only one I didn't know and recognize was
Oh, the original?
the original one you did.
Oh, yes. I'll be surprised if you recognized it.
Well, I knew I would recognize that because I'm over 50 years old. And that wasn't written when you weren't born when I was born. That's great.
That's very
But
much.
I love that kind of music.
Oh, thank
We're coming to
you.
see you
Thank you very
Monday
much.
afternoon. Once they get done with your neighbor, we're coming straight for you after
Absolutely
that.
fantastic.
Thank you.